I earned my degree online at Arizona State University. I chose to get my degree at ASU because I knew that I'd get a quality education, they were recognized for excellence, and that I would be prepared for the workforce upon graduating. To be associated with ASU, both as a student and alum, it makes me extremely proud, and having experienced the program, I know now that I'm set up for success. Learn more at asuonline.asu.edu.
Let's talk about books, Jody. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the weird things and the good things that we read. Let's talk about books.
Welcome back, y'all. Welcome to Adjacent Book Club. And we are so glad we have a very special guest today, an actual author that we're so excited to talk about her amazing books and what she has on the horizon, how she develops her characters, how she develops her storylines. Shelly and I read Every Beautiful Mile. That was the book that we were going to write to discuss today, to talk about. We usually do a rating system, Ashley.
Oh boy.
Was that 5 out of 5? So
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit, Ashley, where are you from originally? This is Ashley Manley. Tell us a little bit about you and where you're
Hi.
from.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for having me. So I'm originally from Florida. I grew up there, and so Every Beautiful Mile, our main character lives in Key Largo. And I did not live in Key Largo, but it was my very favorite spot to vacation. And even now, my family and I, we don't get there very much, but we love going down to the Keys. So that actually kind of inspired the location there for that. But now we live in North Carolina, outside of Charlotte.
Nice.
And yeah, so I'm a mom of two kids, 10 and 9, and a stay-at-home mom. So
wow.
There's nothing very glamorous happening here.
And are they named Marin and Fen?
What's funny is I actually just did a poll on Instagram today to try to name a character in another book I'm working on, and people kept saying Brad, of all names, Brad, and that's my dad's name. And this isn't even like a really romantic person in the story, but I'm like, we just can't do that. Like, there's some lines we can't cross,
Agreed.
Yeah. So, and the story in Every Beautiful Mile, Nell is a widow, and she goes on a road trip. And my husband is still alive, but
Thank you.
Yeah. Ours too.
Yes, but he took it like maybe it was a threat on his life when I said I'm writing about a widow, So that is not based on my experience. But when I sat down to write, and we can talk about that if that's something, that we want to get into. But we, during COVID, lived in a camper for almost 2 years and traveled the country. And so I feel like in all my stories, I pull from at least one thing I know, right? And so I don't know being a widow, and my kids aren't teenagers, but I did teach high school. And I was a teenager, and that kind of sticks with you for a while, And so I pulled from our travels on the road, and that was kind of like the baseline. I'm like, how can I turn this into a love story, And then it kind of went from there.
Yeah. I did love the RVing, and we both have RVs.
Yeah, okay then.
And so it really, I was like, oh, this is so great. And I was like, oh, I kind of want a map as like, where is the jig place? Where did y'all go jigging? And I was like, this is so exciting. I did have a giggle that you're, crossing the country and the timeline, and it was like, Alice, that you went to Austin, San Antonio, and Dallas, and then went to New Mexico or to Big Bend area to Marfa.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh, that's a lot of miles.
Yeah. So when we traveled in the camper, have y'all been to Marfa?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, what's weird is I've met people from Texas, and I'm like, oh, I have to go to Marfa. And they're like, why? I'm like, there's a Prada store in the desert, like I just had to go. And my husband is my opposite, right? Like I see a coffee shop, I'm like, we need to go in there and experience it. And he's just like, all this, anything that even remotely like radiates hippie, he's like, I need to not be near. And me, I'm like a moth to a flame. I'm like, take me to the Marfa lights, you know? And so I Marfa, I mean, it had to be in there. And so when my editor and I were going, there were no, San Antonio, there was a whole chapter dedicated to it in
Yeah.
my first draft. And my editor and I were like talking, and she said, some of these chapters are showing mother-child development, but they're not really progressing the story as much. So it's kind of up to you what you keep and what you toss. And I'm like, well, Marfa can't leave. Like Marfa, whatever we do has to stay. So San Antonio ended up getting tossed, but we
Yeah, Marfa was hilarious because people either get it or they don't get it. And I was one person that did not get it. I was like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
I don't understand.
I think it's beautiful.
I mean, it's beautiful, but I was like, why do people come here for the Marfa lights and then the container thing? I'm like, I don't get it. So that made me laugh out loud, Ashley. It was like hilarious. And so I was so glad that somebody said it and it wasn't just me.
It's you. It's my husband.
Yeah.
And it might just be me, but I'm like so insistent that I feel it. I'm just like, it's magical, even though I don't really know if I think it is.
Oh my gosh. And your talk about being in nature as a church resonated so heavy with me. I've always said that, and I was like, yes.
So it's like that
preaching to the choir. Preaching to the choir. And then the river, how, anybody comes into your life and how it adjusts your life.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful. But my favorite thing in your book was your dedication to yourself for writing the book.
Oh, listen, at the end of the day, you have to be your biggest cheerleader. I will tell you, being a stay-at-home mom, I was a school teacher before I stayed home. And you feel a bit fraudulent no matter what you do, right?
Right.
And my husband has been my biggest supporter, my kids, for like the 8 months it took me to write this book, nobody knew I was writing. I was like my kid, it was a blood oath situation. Like, you tell anyone I'm writing, nobody eats for a month kind of thing. And so I finished, and then you're like, this stuff lives in my head. Like, all these things, a thighgasm lived in here and came, and so it's like, okay, it's scary. And you feel like, who are you to write this? And so when I showed my husband, I'm like, I guess I'm dedicating this to myself because I did it, even though I was terrified the whole time. So,
oh my gosh, I love it. And it probably feels like your third child, if you will.
Oh,
yeah. Each book represents another child. It reminds me of that Snoop Dogg where he's like, I want to thank me.
Yeah.
Well, me.
Yeah.
And then I really resonate with the fact that Penelope, like, you're stuck. And there's nothing I hate more than having that feeling of being stuck. Shelly did a whole book series study with her friends where they would meet and talk about what was getting them stuck in their lives and how to work through those stuck moments. And Shelly, hi, Jody.
Hello.
How are you?
Hi. Good. How are you guys?
Great.
Thanks for introducing us to this amazing Ashley.
Oh, of course.
Wonderful today.
No, she was awesome in the book club. So I mean, 5 minutes into listening to her, I was like, I'm going to text Shelly and Jody and see what they think. So
awkwardness that radiates out of me. People either love it or they're like, no.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a fan for sure.
I'm a fan. Yeah.
But we were just talking about how her main character now was like stuck in a situation and she had to really dig her way out of that. And just her path and her exploring and connecting and just really resonated with us. Shelly did a whole book series study on Stuck with a bunch of her friends. And Shelly also, I think somebody just said this, that Kim said that somebody asked, "Who's your soulmate?" And Shelly was like, "Well, I'm my soulmate." And like that reminds me of you, Ashley. We were like, I did this. I worked it was in my brain. I had to pull it out of there. And so, but I had to tell you the whole widow situation somewhat terrifies me, you know? Like we say, Shelly and I have been collectively married to our spouses for like 61 years. So that all, I just look at people who struggle with it. But the path that Penelope goes on is like, okay, there's hope. There's a way to like rebuild, change, to evolve, and not just feel so like, buried with the person who passed away. So I really appreciate that in your book. And then just really her connection with her kids, how she kind of dug her way into reconnecting with people in a unique way and a new way. So,
but I thought that teenagers, especially Mirren, I was like, you're such a cool kid.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
I want to hang out with you. Where are those kids? I want some of those kids.
When I wrote Marin, honestly, a lot of times when it came to her scenes, I'm like, what kind of teen do I wish I was?
Yeah.
So that's where she came from. Because she's like, what? She's super cool.
She's so cool.
You can tell she's like kind of different, and she kind of gives everyone the middle finger about that. Like Finn's girlfriend, she just.
Oh my gosh, Finn! The way she makes fun of Finn's girlfriend cracked me up.
Yeah, I was like it was just, and I'm like, man, when I read her scenes, I'm like, gosh, I wish I want to be her.
Yes,
she's a cool chick. The dad relationship with Nell, and just being so insightful. Is that your relationship with your Brad?
Yeah.
Is that how you and Brad are?
No. So a lot of people asked, are my parents like Nell's? And they absolutely not. Like my parents and I have a great relationship, but like my mom, if I turn on it, I don't.
It's not painting the picture.
Like, if I say language, I don't know. Is that okay?
That's okay. But it's your mom's not painting a picture of your dad's dick.
No. My mom, if I have nature documentaries on and like lions are mating, she's like throwing a remote across the TV and throwing her body down. Like we've just like recorded porn in our living room. And I'm like, and my kids watch nature documentaries, and so she's like, Ashley, I just can't believe you're exposing your kids to this. I'm like, watch the book I'm going to write, and so my parents, okay, this is a funny story. So I printed out a book with no sex in it to give to my mom, and she had no idea I wrote anything spicy at all, right? So she has this version she doesn't know about, and like no thigh, nothing, no spice. So I go visit them, and my mom's like, I've been reading your book. It's so good. I'm like, oh, I'm so glad. So I go visit them, and I see a stack of like 5 books on the kitchen table. I'm like, what the hell is this? And my dad's like, well, I told your mom she can't read the book you sent us because that one's special. So we bought some from Amazon. And I'm like,
no.
So we go out to lunch, and I'm like sweating, and my husband is dying because, he knows this whole thing, right?
Yeah.
And so I have a couple beers, and I'm like, I have to tell you guys something. And they're like, okay. I'm like, the book I wrote has sex. And my mom's like, what? I'm like, and you don't have the copy. So now my mom's furious with me. And my dad, you would think these people are Baptist ministers, but they are not. And my dad is just like, oh, I didn't know my daughter was so tawdry. I'm like, oh my God. So it's like, I have like ruined the family name. Anyway, so then my mom is mad at me. So she spite reads the other book, and she's telling my dad all the details. My dad calls me. He's like, shame. So yeah. So that's how that all went. And so now my mom has my second book, and I'm like, I just need, it's a little spicy. And my mom's like, I'm going to be just fine. I read the porn from last time. I'm like, God, and it's not even, right? Like if you've ever read anything like even just some regular romance, but erotic, like there's so many things that are so worse. And I tried to explain them, and they're like, well, and I imagine it's you and Kevin the whole time. I'm like, oh my
Oh.
God, So it's all very traumatizing. Now I have these young kids. I'm like, well, we're going to cross that bridge when we get there, and their teenage friends are going to be like, hey, I read your mom's books.
And you immediately move into MILF status.
Yeah, and my husband's like, maybe you should have considered a pen name, but I have such a loud mouth. I'd be like, I'm Ashley Manley and this other person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That is great.
You mentioned that you were a high school teacher. Is that correct? High school? What did you teach?
So I taught high school social studies. I did that before I stayed home with kids, and then I taught elementary school a few years before that. But yeah, my career was a teacher before I went, AWOL.
I love it. I love it.
And then y'all jumped in the RV for 2 years.
Mm-hmm. I think we were on the road to like some 18 months, 19 months, something. But yeah, almost 3 years. So we were in North Carolina when COVID hit. Then my husband's work went remote. And it was kind of one of those things like, okay, what are we doing here? We have this time, you're home. Like, let's go do something weird. It would happen like we drank too much wine and got this idea.
Yeah.
Friends. And then the next day, our friends were like, yeah, we're not really doing that. But we're like, oh, well, guess what? Our house is up for rent on Zillow last night and someone's trying to look at it. So we just kind of, all of our parents, our families were like, have you thought about this? And we're like, absolutely, we haven't. But we're just going to go, at that time, I started homeschooling our kids when they were young. And so when COVID hit, we were like, that year we were talking about putting the kids in school. But when I saw what school was going to look like, that there was no way that was going to be their first experience. So for our kids, when it was homeschool, they're just like, okay, this is just another day, even though everyone in our neighborhood was like, oh my God, what is happening? This is the worst. And my kids are like, yay, look at all the friends we have all of a sudden. And I'm like, that's right, we're taking you on the road. So we just kept homeschooling. And then now my son is in school, but yeah, it was like nothing. Our house just started moving.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, how big was your RV that y'all were packed in?
Oh gosh. So it was a travel trailer. We didn't get a fifth wheel.
Okay.
I want to say it was 27 feet, but I forget.
That's our size, Jody.
We had a bunkhouse for the kids that had a door, and we had a separate bedroom. But that scene in the book where Nell, they start to overheat going through the Guadalupe Mountains.
Oh yeah.
This was inspired by actual events. First of all, in our whole year and a half on the road, I never once drove like that. I'm like, you know what? If Kevin dies, that's my husband. If you die, I am going to get an Airbnb and just leave the camper where it is, because that'll be the least of my problems, right? Like, my husband's gone. What do I care about this stupid camper? So, and then finally in Nebraska, like, we're on our way back from the West Coast, and my husband's like, look how flat it is here. Do you want to learn to drive? I'm like, what's the point? Like, now we're almost to our people. No, I'm all done with this. But when we were going through the Guadalupe Mountains, we had to upgrade our truck to go. Like, we had a camper before, but then when we decided we're going to live in it, we had to get a bigger camper and a bigger truck. And going through the Guadalupe Mountains, which I had never heard of until, we're driving through them.
Yeah.
The truck starts overheating. All these semis are going around us. And I'm very anxious. Like, I'm by nature, right? Like, we're 5 minutes late to dinner and I'm sweating. And so my husband says, as all these cars are going around us and it's hot, and he's like, the AC has to go off, windows down, and I'm panicking. He's like, we probably should have got a bigger truck. And I like almost just throw myself out on the highway and die, because I'm like, oh my God, I don't even know where we are. So yeah, it was an adventure, very long.
Oh, then when you're in the Big Bend and you're driving through Texas, of course, I'm from Texas. Us three, we're from Texas, but you get this feeling sometimes of like, we really should have chopped it up into like 4 different states. Like, you're like, we're not this day.
Yeah, I mean, just to make you feel better about life, because it's like, oh wow, we're still not anywhere, and then there's like mountains you're going toward, but like you never reach them. I'm like, this is a mirage. Like, none of this is real.
Yes. Okay, I have a question, because so we just got a casita, which really it's just for John, my husband, my dog, our dog, which is a golden, and ourselves. And he didn't want to get a big enough one where our kids would join us in it because they're older. Our kids are like in their 20s and 30s. So he was like, no, I just want it to be like for us too. But it's so small. I told him, I said, I don't think you can big potty in there. I'm sorry. We're going to have to do lots of pit stops because I'm not big potty. What's your rules on big potty? And Shelly said,
And like big potty poop.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So when you live in a camper full time, big pottying has to happen. Like,
It has to happen.
I mean, no. And we stayed, okay, this place in the Everglades we stayed at, like, it was shady as hell. I wasn't big pottying anywhere in any of those facilities. I'll tell you that much. Like, we just did. The secret is putting enough water in the tank. As long as you keep enough water in the tank and you flush it out regularly, it is fine. A year and a half. I mean, the kids were the ones who are the problem because it's like they didn't realize the toilet paper just piles up in there. If you don't, I'm like, what are you doing? So, I mean, there were some bad days, but my husband comes from a long line of plumbers, and so those skills. There were sometimes there would be people and other campers, and I'd see them standing outside. I'm like, oh, what's going on? And they're like, oh, toilet's backed up. I'm like, Kevin, it's kind of like one of those things. Like you have the skills, you can't say no. So he found himself in so many weird bathrooms because I'm just like, Kevin, you have to. This is your gift. Like, go unclog the toilet. You know. Strangers. Big pottying was happening, all pottying.
Yeah.
Out there.
So you've written how many books?
So right now I have 2 out. Every Beautiful Mile was my debut. That came out last May.
Yeah.
And then When Wildflowers Bloom came out in September of last year. And then my next book, Forever and Back, comes out April 1st.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. I mean,
You've been busy.
Woo.
Yeah, so I wrote Every Beautiful Mile. So it takes me about a year to write and then go through the editing process to get a book out. And because I'm indie, I have a lot of control over the timeline. I am my own marketer, for better or worse. You know, if you follow me on Instagram, you might be like, Ashley, maybe you should step away from the app. But you know, a lot of large publishing houses, they're marketing their books a lot longer. And for me, it doesn't, if I start marketing a book for 6 months, like I have the same pool of people. They're just like, I just release it, right? Like I give myself about 2 months from book completion to release and so I can get it out in that time. But yeah, so when I wrote Every Beautiful Mile, it started with the editor, and I was driving my editor absolutely crazy because I'm just like, every day I'm like, so now what page are you on? Now what do you think? Now how many stars do you give it? You know, and she's like, I need you to get a life, you know? And so I didn't know what to do. And I said that. I'm like, you know, what am I supposed to do while you have this thing that I birthed out of me?
Exactly.
You start writing another book. And I'm like, it didn't even occur to me there might be another idea in here. And I was like, oh. And so my second book, When Wildflowers Bloom, I based that character off my own anxiety. Like I was just like, I want this person to be anxious, and I'm anxious for really no reason, right? Like nothing. I don't have anything really going on. I'm just nuts. And so I was like, I need this character.
I'm sorry. You have 2 kids
I feel like
and a husband.
the husband probably warrants the anxiety more than my kids. But yeah, so I was like, you know, I want her to be anxious, but I want her to have a little bit more of a reason. So I don't know if you guys have read about what that book's about, but the main character, her name's Birdie, and she has the breast cancer mutation.
Oh.
And you meet her on her 37th birthday, and that's the same year her mom and grandma both died of breast cancer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So you meet her and she thinks this is the year I'm going to die. Right. And so that's her mindset through the whole book. And then you meet these characters who kind of like are like, hey, you're going to be fine. Like, let's get to live in here instead of focusing on the fact you might keel over any minute. And so that's kind of that's what the journey is of that story. And there's of course a love story woven in, and she's not a mother, but she becomes friends with an autistic neighbor boy, and it's just that's the story. So yeah, I don't have breast cancer, I don't have the BRCA mutation, but
Right.
a few years ago, a friend of mine from college passed away with cancer. And when she was battling it, I remember her and I talking, and I'm like, I'm all like nuts. And she's just like, well, I got to go to the grocery store. I got to go get my daughter from preschool. I'm like, how are you so even, when you're going through chemo and you're doing all this, when I'm like, I have my health and I'm just nuts. And so when I was sitting down to write, I thought of her and how she was calm through that storm, and
Yeah.
kind of it was just like a mushing up all those experiences to form that character.
Oh
Wow.
my gosh. Well,
Ordering now.
well, Jordan's got it. She's got the book.
Oh, good.
Yay, there she is. Have you read it, Jordan?
No, because I finished Every Beautiful Mile and then I got into Onyx Storm, and
Oh,
so this is my next one.
you're gone for a month with Onyx Storm the size of that list.
Yes. She loves a beast like that.
Oh, I do, yeah. But I had to go get it and show you guys because I got it at the
Oh,
book
that's
club
right.
when
That's
it's
right.
Oh,
there. Yeah,
good. And do y'all live near each other?
Kind of.
kinda, yeah.
Oh, cool. How
Yeah.
lucky! Ashley, you have one of our favorite people in your area now.
I know. Well, are you in Mount Holly, Jordan?
Not quite. I'm on this side of the river, but very close.
Okay. Yeah. So like half hour away.
Easy, yeah.
Yeah. So back to Birdie.
Yeah.
That really resonates with us. Our dad passed away when he was 47. So every year after that, we're like, we're on borrowed time. We're on borrowed time.
And we also are morose. We always say we're like Irish Scottish. And so we're always, all our oldest living relative is like
62.
62. And so we just are, we're like, we're definitely here for a good time. But I don't think we go down that deep with her. But I was thinking about your editor. That's how we are with poor Jordan. We're like, Jordan, we got another thing for you to do. And she just rolls with it.
We all need someone like that. The crazy ones with the ideas we need the mooring to hold us.
Exactly.
Just a wrangler, just
Yeah.
wrangling.
So,
But
but
I'm sorry, I totally get your anxiety. I've always, like, with my kids, I was very anxious. Like, I was that mom that would follow them around the playscape, like, they're going to fall, they're going to blah, 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 and then I would cut the blinds cord because I was afraid they were going to hang themselves on the blinds cord, or I wouldn't let them use an escalator if they were wearing flip-flops.
It's not funny. I know. I get it. Here's a story I just saw on Instagram. This mom, and I don't know if she has any other kids, but when you have babies and everything's dire at the pediatrician, right? They're like, if you sleep in bed with this child, they will
Yes.
die. If
Yeah.
they are on the stomach, they will die. Like, okay, so I got
Yes.
this whole, like, everything you're going to do is kill your kid. My son would only sleep on his stomach. And like, I fought it, right, for weeks because I was going to kill him if I had put him on his stomach, even though that's what he wanted. Like, he doesn't know. I get it. It's his nature, but everyone else is telling me no. Well, finally, one night, I'm so tired. He's screaming. I put him on his stomach and I lay on the floor. Like, we're both on our stomachs on the
Yes.
floor and we fall asleep. My husband wakes up the next morning and finds us and is like, what are you doing? I'm like, I killed it. He wanted it, So, okay, he's 11. Like, we've made it, right? Like, So this mom on Instagram the other day is like, my baby wants to sleep on his stomach and I don't know what to do. I'm like, dear stranger, let me tell you what I did. And this is like horrible advice, like, according to everyone. But I'm just like, I get it. No judgment.
yeah.
Because they're probably waking up your baby like oh gosh, I got to flip you back over.
Yes.
So when you're tired, he's exhausted.
Yeah.
I mean,
The whole thing. Anyway,
I know.
yeah, I mean, I
know.
get it. Kids are
Yeah.
scary. Like, you're supposed to keep them alive. It's like a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
So much pressure. Can you explain the indie process? Like,
Yes.
Yeah.
help us listen.
Okay, so I wrote Every Beautiful Mile, and I didn't know I was going to go indie. I actually didn't even know what indie was. I didn't even know what genre this book was. I mean, I knew nothing. I just knew I had written something, and it was as done as I could get it. So I went to a conference down in Orlando, and there were some people there speaking about the indie process. All I knew is I would have to find all these people, right? I'd have to find editors and cover artists and like make these decisions. And I didn't know what I was doing, right? I didn't even know if this book, like I had no clue. So that the idea of doing that was a little intimidating. It's a lot of work. And so I'm like, I don't know if I want to do that. Well, at this same conference, I met with a small indie publisher. And so that just means they're just a small publisher, right? They're not one of the big houses. And so I'm talking to the woman who owns it. And she said, if we took your this was in October of 2023. And she said, if we took your manuscript, it would be ready to publish in January. I'm like, oh, well, that's not so bad. That's great. And I'm like getting excited about this and thinking all these things. She's like, yeah, 2025. And I laughed in this woman's face because obviously she wasn't picking up on the kind of personality I have that a year and 3 months, I'm not going to be able to sit with this thing for that. No way, So I'm like, okay. So then I start looking into how to get an agent to get published at maybe a bigger publishing house. And that whole process, it's a bear. You could be looking for an agent for a year or more. And then the agent, once they take your manuscript, it could be another year of them looking for a publisher who even wants your work. And even after that point, they might not want it how you've written it, and all these things. And so I come back from this conference and I sit down with my husband and I'm like, listen, we have these two choices. And I tried to be very level with it and not get pitchy in my voice, but it's like, I'm pretty, what's going on, like what I think when I'm talking. So I'm just like, well, we could go with the publisher and it would be, at least a year and a half, or I could do everything by myself and it would be like 6 months. But it's expensive. And he said, listen, I've watched you carry your computer around this house and ignore our family for almost a year. Like, we're doing this. We're in it now. So he's like, whatever it's going to cost, you believe in this and I believe in you and we're going to do it. So
go Kevin.
Yeah, Kevin is the best. Kevin does not understand anything artistic. He's not here for Marfa, but he is here for me. So I used a website the first time called Readsy, and it's kind of like a marketplace for all things indie publishing. You can find cover editors, you can find our cover artists, editors. There's people that specialize in marketing and helping you write back of book blurbs, all query letters, like you can get everything there. So that's what I did my first book. Books go through 3 rounds of editing. There's a developmental edit first, which is just editing for the story, right? It's like looking for plot holes. Do your characters make sense? Is it slow? Is it fast? All that stuff. Then the second round of editing is your copy edit, where they're fixing your words, and then you have a proofreader. And so I hired all of my first editors through Readsy that first time, just because I didn't know what else to do.
Yeah.
And so and my cover artist was from there as well for that first book. But after that first book, I learned some things. I still use the same developmental editor I had that first time. So she's just finished my 4th book. I trust her. We have a good relationship. She deals with my lunacy, so it's good. I need to keep that. But then my other 2 editors, I've actually been using freelance editors I found on Instagram. And, most of them do a sample edit. I'm supporting indie editors. Like I like that, and it's been wonderful. So that's kind of like the very big picture side of things. Once I'm finished writing, I give each edit 2 months, 1 month for them to have it and 1 month for me to make changes after with their edits. And then it goes to the next round. The only one that I don't give myself that much time is the proofread. Like I only need a couple days, I read it. There's not much to change at that point, and then it's ready to go. So I don't know if you care or if this is too much information.
No, it's very interesting.
For me, writing a book, each book cost between $4,000 and $4,500 for me to put out. So people have been asking me about audiobooks. I'm not an audio listener. And so for me, it hasn't been like a passionate thing for me to chase after. But I started looking into it this week. And the numbers I'm seeing are like $4,000 for one narrator. That's doubling how much I'm spending on my books. And
Right.
so I there might be other way. So my daughter starts school in the fall, and I'm gonna commit more time to things like that when she's in school and I'm not homeschooling her anymore. But
Right.
as of right now, it's just that's a lot of money for an indie author who I'm just finally getting to a place financially where I feel like I'm not completely sucking our finances dry by paying for editors. And so the idea of tacking on a $4,000 tag onto my cost of each book
Yeah.
is a bit much. So
Sure.
I don't know. I don't know what I'll do on that avenue. There might be ways to like, get it picked up traditionally, like you would, a traditional book with a publisher, but I'm like half-assing that part right now. Sorry
Right.
to any audio listeners. Like I
No.
love everyone. I'm trying, but it's a
No.
lot.
Yeah. No, I would love to hear it in audio as well. That was one of my questions for
Yeah.
you. It's like, when is this going to be in audio? How does the community support you? Like, this book isn't in our libraries. This isn't in our systems here. How do we? And I've already put in a request for our local library, but how do we do this? How do we move the needle on it?
Yeah, so for indie authors, the biggest thing is people requesting the books at the library. So I'm on Amazon and but I'm also on a platform. It's called Ingram Spark, and they're a distributor. They print the books and they distribute to bookstores. So if you and libraries. So if you go to your library and request my book, they're going onto Ingram Spark and they're ordering it. So most indie authors, or at least if they're I don't want to say if they're smart, but indie authors should be putting their book in Ingram Spark so they can be distributed to libraries.
Okay.
The reason my book isn't available on library online platforms is because it is on Kindle Unlimited. And so when you have a book on Kindle Unlimited, they have exclusive digital rights to that book.
Wow. Okay.
And, as an indie author who's nobody, for me, that was the best bet for getting the most people to read it.
Sure, of course.
Burroughs, who doesn't give a shit if she's on, people are buying her book for, I bought her ebook for $16 or something stupid, it's like, it's just sitting on my Kindle because I'm too scared to read that many pages right now. But someone like Ashley Manley, who they're like, who is this hag? Like, I don't know what she's talking about. They're not going to do that. And so I'm using Kindle Unlimited right now. I feel like in the book community, sometimes Amazon gets a bad rap, but I will tell you, as an indie author, it has been incredible for me.
Oh, good.
That's what I heard too.
It's been amazing. Authors get paid. It's a fraction of a cent, but it's per page read on Kindle Unlimited. So, someone reads my book, there's monetary gain there. It's
Yeah.
not a ton, but it's exposure and it helps. And so, but yeah, my book can be requested at any library. My friend, we lived in Illinois for a while, so my friends have requested all the libraries in Illinois and in my hometown in Florida. So that's cool to see. But a lot of people don't know, just to be like, hello, I'd like to request an indie author here in Kansas or wherever. So yeah, that's the biggest thing, is just you can just request any book at the library and they should be able to get it.
I have a
Good.
question. After you've written the 3 books and everything, like your children, do you have a favorite one?
It's so hard because I get asked that, and it kind of feels like it's always the one I'm working on, right? Like the one I'm working on is my favorite. I will tell you the one that comes out in April. I think it'll be the most relatable book for maybe women and moms that I ever write. I don't know if I'll ever top it. Like and I don't want to set the bar so high for myself with that. Like, I'm not saying it's the best thing I'll ever write, but I think her as a main character is someone most women will be able to read and be like, I am June, And so I love that about her. Scotty, her best friend, is who I'm working on right now. So they're part of a duet. Scotty has a very foul mouth and is like very, very direct. And so she's very, okay, so Shelly's like, yeah, that's me. So that is not me. That is not me at all. So I've had to really like stretch myself to write her story and maintain who she is, because I feel like a lot of times you can read a book with one of these strong characters and their character arc is that they're soft by the end, right? Like you've probably met these characters.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to not do that, but like make her likable. And so that's been difficult. But when you're like, have this girl that's like, saying things that most of us probably think, but everyone except Shelly apparently says. And so it's been hard, but I love her right now, and so it's really hard. I loved Nell, writing her story and the track. Like there's just special pieces. Maybe when it's all done, maybe I'll be able to say, but right now, just because I'm in the thick of it, it's just whatever I'm working on is kind of who I love, I guess.
Hey, I have a question. When Nell becomes a feature film, who do you want to play her?
Oh,
okay. So I feel like I don't know anyone in Hollywood anymore, like
Same.
so I had to, so this gets asked of me a lot. Okay. Someone asked this and I had to ask the people because I'm like, who I know Mandy Moore. Like, why do I think? And so, like, someone was like, Ashley, I don't think she's funny and awkward enough to be Nell. I'm like, okay, well, she has brown hair, right? Like, this is all I know. So, there was a girl. Hold on, I'll try to find it. Who do you remember? Either from the '70s show or How I Met Your Mother. The girl with brown hair. That's what someone recommended, and I could kind of see it. And then people were like, "What about Ethan?" I'm like, "I don't pick your hot man." I just kind of suck at this.
I'm the same way. I'm like, can I pick people from like circa, Mandy Moore? Or
Yes, yes. And so for Birdie, I said Rachel McAdams. She was the one.
Yes.
I could just she kind of had that Birdie vibe to me, but everyone else, I'm just like, you decide. I know.
Yes.
Just not gonna fight like about text messages on the news and have lawsuits. I don't want that. I just want the one where everyone loves each other and I don't have to leave Instagram. Like
Exactly.
So not only do your parents get to read your sexy version, but now they're going to show up with like soap to clean your mouth out after they read your custom version.
I'm really a disappointment. I mean, and it's I'm just like, Mom, Dad, I'm sorry I grew up and wrote sex, but surprise.
Ashley, do you have siblings?
I do.
Are they older, younger? What's
I have
your
a younger brother.
Okay.
Yeah, he's 4 years younger than me.
Okay.
4 years younger.
Yeah, so he knows what I've done. Like I called that's my friends. I'm like, hey, Jamie, I wrote books with sex. And he's like, oh, Mom and Dad are gonna freak out. And they did, And so, but he's not, I mean,
Does he like read
book? It's not his thing. My husband has read my books. He's read them all, and he's not a reader. So my books are the best books he's read in 40 years. That's what he tells me every time. These are the best books I've read in 40 years. I'm like, well, they are the only books you've read, so that's great. But yeah, he reads them, and he has some questions about some things that I write, and I'm just like, listen, we don't talk about it. We just this is what I did, and it's just like no, but it's like Fight Club.
Oh my gosh, so good. But we know you have to get back to your kids. Can we read your next book and get you back on?
Oh, I love that. Yeah. So, and I don't know if you guys are digital readers. I'd be happy to send you a ARC.
Yes, we want the early one.
Yeah, I'll email it to you guys. So
look at Jordan. Look at Jordan's eyes lit up. Come on.
Did you read it? Did you get it, Jordan?
No, I haven't. I didn't know where to, because so I started following it. This is one thing I was maybe not ask you about, but just bring up on here so people knew that you were like so cool on Instagram. Like she takes everyone through the writing process. Like you had a couple posts today about like what was it? Made up words that Kindle's flagging or so. Like it's just so cool to see the process you go through, and you're very open about it on Instagram, and I think that's so cool.
Well, good. I never know. Some people ask, and then I'm like, okay, well, I mean, I'm fine sharing it. I don't. I'm here. I will tell you, my people on Instagram, my readers are just the best. And there's not, I have less than 1,000 followers, but it's like they're just the best. And last week, a book reviewer I reached out to her on a whim. after she posted some books she didn't like in the romance genre of last year. And I also didn't like them. And all my friends love them. And so, you know, you kind of feel crazy when everyone's like, oh my God, isn't this good? And you're like, yeah, sure. And so
Got one.
We have one. After you tell this story, we have one because literally it's us three. Like,
okay, well then I'm excited to hear what it is. So so she posts that these 3 of these books were her least favorite of 2024, and I watched
Wow.
it and I'm dying laughing. And so I sent her this message, and on Instagram she's in Megan's book club. But anyway, I sent her this message. I'm like, "Hi, this is awkward. You know, we hate the same books, and I wrote one, and I'm thinking maybe you could read it." You know, and so when you reach out to someone with 100,000 followers, you never expect to hear anything back, right?
Right.
And so she responded, and then she read Every Beautiful Mile, and then she posted about it. And I'm like, all I do all last week is cry. I cry on the internet. I cry in private. My husband's on a work trip. I'm crying on the, I'm like, oh my God, I should find her. And my husband's like, I don't even know what Instagram is, you know? And so, so these people came to my page. They're sending all these nice messages. And then my original followers, my first readers are like, I have been sending her your books for months and she's never responded. I'm like I have these people championing for me. And I'm like, what? All right, what is happening? You know? And so without them, and it seems silly, right? Social media, it's like so silly, but they are just great to me. And so I'm happy to share anything with them. I'm happy to cry on the internet to these wonderful people who read my books. And so yeah, I don't know. It's been a wild ride, but
Love it.
it's good. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
so everyone listening, follow her. Oh, Shelly, would you like to tell which book it is?
Y'all go ahead.
So it's called The Night. Have you read The Night Circus?
Oh no. Is this a popular one people like but you hate?
I don't like it.
I'm writing it down.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Jordan Robert.
So how it happened is I was with some of our other friends and we were taking a walk. This was kind of during COVID, and we came across one of the little Barlow libraries, and that book was in there, and they recommended it. I read it. I loved it. It was right up my alley, but they were like, we got to warn you, this caused some problems in the book club because some people hated it.
it destroyed our
Turns out Shelly was one of the ones that hated it.
it destroyed our book club. And so what we did, instead of since we were kicked out of the book club, we started a podcast.
I love it. You're like, you know what? You don't like my opinions? Watch what I'm gonna do. Hold my beer. I dedicate this to me.
Exactly. And almost every book club in our podcast, we throw shade at the Night Circus.
So we need to make it like a drinking game every book club. And how long does it take for Night Circus to be brought up? Because it inevitably
it is.
Right, well, I'm at least going to look it up. I mean, I'm not getting to reading it, but I'm at least looking it up.
Well, I'm going to reread it because
a lot of characters.
Yeah, it has a lot of characters, and it definitely was a hard push for me. It's fantasy, and so that's not my...
For me, I have to be in a right mood set, or mindset. Yeah. There's all the world building, and I'm like, what are your rules and your powers and your names, and why are these clothes?
Thank you, Ashley. From a professional.
Yeah,
doesn't want it either.
Listen, I get it. I get why people love it, and I have a lot of friends who are like, I need to take some time off from fantasy. I'm like, I give myself 3 a year, 3, and that's all my brain can compute, because I'm just like, wait a second, is this the one with the fairies? And then here comes a dragon. I'm like, nope, wrong series. I don't know who any of these people are. So I read the others of the Empyrean series, and I have Onyx Storm downloaded, but I will tell you, I read the first page 48 times. I don't know who anyone is. I tried listening to a podcast summary, and I'm like, someone lost their leg last time? I don't remember that scene. So I'm just like, you know what? I read the last page. I'm going to be honest. I didn't. I just,
okay.
I didn't want to have FOMO. Everyone on the internet was talking about it, and they're like, the end, can you believe it? And I read the last page. I'm like, that doesn't seem like that big of a deal to me. I don't.
I can't wait till you read it.
Now I'm like, okay, I'm cool too. I know what happens. I know the last line.
Oh my gosh.
I did that with Breaking Bad. It would really ruin the whole series. Like, I
But you know what? That show stressed me out. Like I was so, and what I didn't like about that show is there was no clear good guy. Like, who are you cheering for? Everyone's bad and making drugs. Like, I don't know. And I was sweaty. Like, when I need someone who I'm like, you have some morals. But anyway,
That is so incredible.
yeah, right here from the pro.
Hey, Ashley, aside from your books, what is your favorite book you've ever read your whole life?
Oh gosh, that's hard. I love Kristen Hanna. I love the
Oh.
Nightingale.
Oh, I love the Nightingale.
I love the Nightingale. I I love Emily Henry and Book Lovers. I really like that one.
I love Emily Henry.
I think
They're so fun.
here's my dream compliment. And now you four can't say it, and nobody on the internet that listens to this can say it. But my dream compliment is to one day accidentally stumble on someone talking about me and then say, it's like Kristen Hanna and Emily Henry had a baby. Like I just that's who I want to be,
Oh my
And
gosh.
so far, all the Facebook groups I've trolled, no one said that. But I'm thinking one day. And I will tell you on that book club page, the girl who read the book and had all the followers, Kristen Hanna tagged me in one of the comments on there about something, and I screenshot it and send it to everyone I know. I'm like, is it me or are we best friends? Like I'm
I know.
getting that vibe from how she at me, but anyway, yeah. So those are the two that come to mind right now that I just really I like those books.
Yeah, that's so tough.
We received an email today from Louise Penny, who wrote Still Life.
Oh,
Yeah, she somebody from her office emailed us, and I felt like, yay!
Isn't it weird how you can feel like this? Like, we're such idiots, right?
I know.
That's what I felt like. I'm like, I'm such a loser, but also I keep looking at this.
No. I think whenever we meet people on the podcast or in real life, we just become straight up fangirls for them because you're so authentic. Everyone we've met has just been so authentic, so real, so honest, so vulnerable. So I just appreciate that connection,
And I think you want to cheer for people, right?
Yes,
cheer
that's
for
our whole thing.
And it's when you see them on a platform or on TV or just the image, you don't feel that connection. But I think when you see someone's an actual human that has no freaking clue what they're doing, you're just like, you know what? I want to see you win today.
Yeah.
Yes.
I want to see everybody win, even the author of Night Circus. I'll give it another try. I'll keep trying. I'm not going to give up on you.
I get it. I give everyone 5 stars on Goodreads because they had an idea and they finished it. And I'm just like, you know what? Go you, even though I didn't like it.
Okay. Jody and I had a big debate when we started book club. She was like, you cannot give everybody a 5.
No.
And I was like, but it's their art. Come on.
See, I know. I have friends that are like, I'm disgusted with what you do to the algorithm. I'm like, sorry.
But you know what's funny though is y'all say that I feel the same, and then Ashley, this came up in the book club. You were like, that one person gave me a 4-star review, and I was like, I'm gonna rewrite the whole book, and I was like, see,
yeah,
authors read this, and
I don't read reviews anymore. But when I first published Every Beautiful Mile, I didn't know that. I didn't know what was going to happen to my mental state, And so when you publish, if someone says there's a typo or whatever, or I see a typo, I can go in and fix it and update the file, and it prints fixed tomorrow, and it goes on an ebook fixed tomorrow. And so I read a review that was 4 stars. That's not even bad, right?
No,
but it was 4 stars because I thought Nell was a little too jealous, and I'm like, oh, that's my friend, And so then Kevin finds me at the computer, I'm hammering away, and he's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm changing all the chapters where Nell was jealous. He's like, I need you to come back to bed.
Yeah.
Step away, and you will never ever please everyone. And that's hard for me because I just want people to like me. And sometimes I'm like, I know you gave it low stars, but if you'd let me talk to you and you got to know me, maybe you'd like it better, and that it's not the way it works. And I had a book last weekend. I think Beautiful Ugly. I haven't read this. Have you? I don't know if y'all have read this or seen it floating around. Anyway,
I've heard about it.
I woke up Saturday morning with a friend texting me, oh my gosh, I'm reading the worst book ever. And she sends me a picture of this book. And I'm like, oh, okay. Later that day, another friend texts me, same picture of a book. I'm reading the best book and I can't put it
Yeah.
down. I'm like, this goes to show, like,
Yes.
you're never, ever everyone's cup of tea. But
Well, and that's my thing. Everybody has a different lens.
Yes.
Everybody has a different backstory. So what resonates with one person might not resonate with the other. I would say if you're going to give a very low rating, don't put it out there like that. Like, just
yeah.
leave that alone. You don't have to, like, yuck somebody's yum.
Jody, we had like 3 episodes about doppelganger where we were like, bleh.
No, it was like Breaking Bad. It was just a very stressful book, but I said it's very well written. It just was stressful. I was breaking my teeth.
Yeah.
I had to put my night guard on to read it. It was stressful. So that's different. I said the writing was impeccable. It's very well written. It just was like, oh my gosh, this is very stressful.
Oh my god. Oh my gosh, so funny. Well, we really appreciate you coming on and read.
Thank you so much for having me. This was fun.
Oh my gosh, you are inspiring me. My son wants to be a writer, and I'm just going to tell him, you can do it.
He can do it. He can do it.
Yes.
But I think he'll
write like indie. Yeah. Yes. I'm going to tell him to go indie. I think he would write, or at least he could edit. He loves to edit things. So, and he loves to look for plot holes and try to help people
that's
with
awesome.
that stuff. So, but I'm going to bring it up to him. I think you're inspiring me to, I always wish that I could be a really good writer, but it wasn't in my cards. But
she's a very good writer.
I don't know.
You're probably great, but you're a great reader, even if you're not a good writer.
Exactly.
I'm all right. I'm not like Jordan and Shelly, but I'm, I would do my best.
Well, back to the book.
Yes, everybody go get Every Beautiful Mile and look for When Wildflowers Bloom as well. You're not going to want to miss these opportunities of great reading. And
I mean, it's like when
Back is on its way out. So look for Forever and Back as well. Like, let's keep this going.
It's like Kristen Hanna had a baby with Emily Henry and they wrote a book.
Oh my gosh. What a compliment I didn't see coming.
That's going to be the title of our podcast.
We love it. I love it. You know what? Finally somewhere.
Yes.
You manifested it. You manifested it.
I knew it. If I just planted the seed discreetly, someone would find it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Hey, Jordan, sign us out.
Texas. Yeehaw!